deep breathing exercises.
Such a good song.
It is. Woo! Curtis, why are you so out of breath?
You take my breath away, Jordan. I'm not gonna lie. Dude, guys, welcome to Testing Normal.
Episode 39.
This is Curtis.
This is Jordan.
And this is a podcast where we talk about anything and everything we want to.
That's right.
Dude, I'm breathing a little heavy because when I came in here, I was dragging ass, man. I was having a really hard time.
Yeah, you were.
Just even thinking, I just literally like 20 minutes ago got off work.
Right.
And my head felt like it was on fire. So we made a deal, like, hey, let's get stuff going. Let's get motivated a little bit.
Let's do some push-ups.
And we did some push-ups. We threw down a cool
little bit of PTSD.
Little bit of PTSD. We threw down close to 50.
I did 46.
Like a few seconds.
You did 50.
I think I did, but I could have skipped one or two without counting accurately.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I did like 800 times a day, like last year.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Seriously though, I have some PTSD from previous exercise challenges we've had.
We were kind of laughing. I picked a bad spot to do them just now, right in front of the heater.
Oh yeah, that's a terrible spot.
Yeah, it's a terrible spot.
I don't know though. It's kind of like a hot yoga situation.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to do a real hot yoga
Do you?
Class.
Okay.
I've never done hot yoga.
Would you rather do hot yoga or goat yoga?
Definitely hot yoga.
Really?
I have no desire to have a goat taking a pee on me while I'm in the downward dog position.
I don't think they pee.
Oh yeah,
on people?
They poop on people.
What? No.
You think a goat has the mental wherewithal to know not to poop at a certain time? No, they just,
on a person? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure goats poop when they want to poop.
Goats are smart.
Pretty sure goats poop when they want to poop. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Call me crazy.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. We had sheep when I was a kid. Their poop's not that bad. It's like deer poop. It's just like...
I think sheep are a bit different than goats, though.
They're similar.
Goats are obnoxious. Sheep can be... They're both stupid.
It's true.
But I feel like goats are... Are they a little bit sharper, a little bit smarter than
I think
the sheep?
they are. Although when I was a kid, we had a really, really smart sheep. Like, really smart. We called him Tiny Tim. He would let the other sheep out.
What?
Yeah. Like, he would walk up to the gate, and he would
his nose
push it with his nose. He would push this little thing out of the way. And then he would step back. But he only do it when it was windy, because the wind would push the gate open. So he would push it when it got windy, and then he would step back, and all of them would get out.
Did you? What was the fate? What happened to this tiny sheep?
He got old and died.
Did you guys eat him?
No.
Did you guys eat any of the sheep you had?
Tons of them.
Really?
Yeah.
You ate tons of the sheep?
But they only the ones that we like usually slaughtered within the first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if the goat made it past a year, they're in like.
What's really funny is I had a post come up today that was like I think it was like 3 years or something like that. Like, were you laughing at just us?
No. Yeah. I'm just looking.
It was like a 3-year reminder of something I had posted. And someone had asked, like, how do you talk to your kids about real food? Like, people in the city, they're like, don't hurt the planet, all that kind of stuff, but they still eat meat and everything. Like, they're literally just like popping holes in cows' heads, grinding them up right there, like not caring if they're really dead, and like chickens are in these horrible situations. That's okay, but like, be nice to people around you, like, because they don't understand the food system. Like, yeah, I don't want to torture animals or anything, but anyway, so I was talking about on this post in reference to this guy, like, I grew up with these sheep. We named them cute things like Lamb Chop, and I don't think we ever named one Sausage, but we should have. But he said, oh, that's interesting. Someone said, that's super interesting. Like, this is very enlightening to hear, like a kid that grew up with it, having watched these kind of pets get shot in front of them and then slaughtered. What went through your mind?
Is that what your dad did? Did he typically shoot them?
It was like the butcher did. Would come out and pop them.
Oh, the butcher did.
Yep.
The butcher came out. So your dad didn't kill him and butcher him?
No.
Oh.
They knew. Like, the sheep knew.
Really?
They were like, this is the day. This is death day. And
or did they know once the butcher came out? Or
yes. And it was like, he walked in and they were like, nope, I don't want to be near him. And they would be like, they could leap higher than they've ever leapt before. And like,
move faster than ever before.
Yeah, like lightning. And it was so weird. Like,
was it always the same butcher that came out?
Yeah.
Well, then the other goats were like, oh shit, that's
the guy. Sheep were always circulating. The sheep from the year before were just the other ones that were off somewhere else. They never had met the butcher before.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
They could sense it.
They just knew, like, this is it. Death day. Happy death day to me.
How many head of sheep did you guys have?
At any given time, the most we had was 12.
Okay.
So not very many.
That's interesting. What was the reason your parents decided to have sheep? Were they like,
they were there when we bought the house.
Oh,
and
really?
They kept the grass down.
Okay, so
but we couldn't have too many, and they would shear them, which wool never goes for anything. I think they ended up selling a bag or just donating it years and years and years later. From all the times we'd sheared the sheep, never gotten rid of it. It was this big bag.
Whoa.
But anyway, so my response to this guy was, he said, "What was your thought process as a kid watching that?" And I said, honestly, the only thought process I remember as a kid was, man, lamb sausage sandwiches are really good.
Dude, those are good. I've had those before.
Yeah.
Those are really yummy.
They're legit.
They're pretty tasty on my palate.
Yeah.
On my cold palate.
It's got to be done.
Palate.
Lamb's got to be done right, but it's good.
Yeah, it is really good.
It's just got to be prepared right. So this morning, to get this, I had a little mishap.
Oh, wow.
So I play music at church every once in a while. Actually, not every once in a while, pretty often. So I'm sitting there, and I'm a nerd. I'm a techie, and so I have all this stuff on my keyboards and stuff. I have it all set up, and it's going really well and everything. And I hit the keys, and I see something kind of flash out of the side of my eye. And I was like, what was that? And I look, and it's my coffee cup coming towards me.
Oh, my gosh.
Off the keyboard.
Was it sitting on the keyboard?
Yes.
On top of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dumb place to have it. I
Yeah,
get
not
it.
the best.
Like, I've learned this lesson now, because what happened next was I thought I had caught it, and it dumped into the keys. And I thought most of it went off. And I was like, oh, no. And then I hear it in my headphones.
No way.
Lots of keys playing.
No.
Like, like all the keys are playing. And like in the lower register. And I was like, oh no. And I'm like, I looked out, and my brother-in-law was kind of sitting out in the seats. I was like, can you get me some napkins quick? And he comes up. And
wait, was this before?
This is before.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm grabbing stuff, and I'm like wiping it off the keys, hoping maybe there isn't much. I don't think much went in, so maybe it'll be okay. And I hit keys up above, and like random keys all over are pressing everywhere on the keyboard. So I did naturally what you think you should do.
Turned it upside down.
I told everyone, I said, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to try to fix this. And I unplugged everything, and I tipped it up, and it just starts dropping coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Out
nice.
of the keyboard.
Ivory coffee right there is
So
what we call it. That's the ivory
I
coffee
take
mix.
it off the stand, and I move it around, and it's still
Sloshing.
dumping and sloshing out and not getting better.
Usually you have a tiny coffee cup. It's usually not that big.
It wasn't that much, but I think like half the cup went into this. Finally, I looked at Luke, who's been on here before, Luke Sedgwick, which, by the way, I got his book in the mail today. And I said, if anyone asks where I went home. And I took the keyboard with me. And I rushed home, and I put it upside down in my garage, turned on the air compressor, and blew the whole thing out.
What time was this at?
9:20.
Oh, okay. So you had a solid 40 minutes.
40 minutes to get it back if it worked. So I blew it all out.
You live about like 2-3 minutes away.
No, it's about 8 minutes now.
Is it 8?
Yeah.
What?
Because you gotta go around the hill, and realistically, it's 8 minutes to get in the door.
Traffic, yeah.
Yeah, traffic. And I get it all blown out, and I plug it into my garage, and it works.
No slosh sound.
No slosh sound, and it wasn't hitting other keys.
Perfect.
Threw it back in my car. Grabbed my other older kids who were still at home.
Oh, that's perfect. You could take your kids back then.
Drove back, plugged it all in, and I missed practicing the end of one song and a whole song, and just winged it through the rest of it.
That's nuts. That's good. That's nuts, dude. That's cool though. That's perfect. Perfect timing. Well,
yeah.
Well
So
played.
what's funny is
it.
Today's the day that apparently we Jono was on here. Jono, I spilled coffee in the keyboard today. It was great times. I'll tell you about it later. Or you can
rewind. Tasty ivory.
Or
coffee. New blend. It's a new blend.
Today was the day where apparently my family just drops things food items. So we go to some friend's house today for lunch, and they're like, hey, we could sit in the living room. The kids will sit at the couch, or sit at the table. We'll go in the living room. And so we go sit in the living room. Haley sits down next to me, and she goes to scoot over to the edge of the love seat that we're on.
Yeah.
And
you're in the living room, you said?
She just goes, I'm going to say what you said, babe, because you said it. She goes, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. And I look over, and she's holding her plate just against her stomach and chest.
Classy. shirt dinner.
Yeah, and she like it's taco salad. So there is zero like recovering from that moment, and I just like I took a picture, and she just has it all over, and it was just all over the place.
Dude, that's a messy situation.
So apparently today was just the day
where left and right.
where my family just drops food.
Shoot, dang.
So
good. Dude, I saw a little interesting article. I don't know if you're cool with going into this or not.
Hey, go for it. I've read up on most of these.
So, dude, this tell me what have you heard about this European investment bank situation for climate? It's like a climate.
So this is interesting. I don't know that there's a ton of details on it yet, and some of it's very, very complex. So there's a bank. I'm looking to see where that one's at because that's going to pull it up.
It's a European bank.
Under politics. Oh, European Investment Bank. Yeah. So apparently, I knew zero and still know next to zero about how this works. But banks will give out business loans, right? Well, I never really given a lot of thought to this, but it's not just like a shove a tube in the ground, you get oil out situation for oil, right? It's a bit of an investment to find a spot that's going to pay back.
Right.
So these banks apparently would give out these business loans. They would fund the companies going out and searching for spots or building up spots for it.
Research and development, basically.
Kind of R&D, but it's more so just like...
Or search and infrastructure.
Yeah, search and extract.
Search S&E.
Yeah.
Boom. Not S&M. S&E.
Super different. It could be.
There's oil. There's oil in both cases.
Search and mine.
There's oil in both
search
cases.
And mine.
So
mine could be the M.
There you go.
Anyway, so there's these banks that, and this one that's in this article. The Guardian is talking about here is one of the major ones that funds these, and it has said now that sorry, I'm saying a lot because I'm trying to actually do something at the same time, and that's just not a good situation for both of us.
Just tell me when you want me to go to.
You can just go to it now.
Main.
Yeah, you do that.
Got it.
So you can just go to it now. It's up. This is one of the major banks that funds those, and it is said by 2021 it is going to stop doing those loans for anything fossil fuel.
Wow.
So that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
And it's saying, like, it says in the article, and you can go read it. Well, obviously, we'll give the links just like we do all the time. You can, that they know this is not like the end all for what needs to be done for it, but it's definitely a step in the right direction and a step in slowing down the search for fossil fuels and use of fossil fuels.
I mean, eventually, if you think about, I think there is still a significant supply of fossil fuels that we could be using for a very long time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best thing for us to be using to be utilizing.
Yeah.
If we had kind of someone forcing our hand into alternative fuel sources,
right?
Then I think in the long run that's going to be basically that's the only thing I think that's going to change it. If we have something that forces our hand, this slow, gradual progression of we're having some global warming, we're having some stuff heat up, we're
done with that.
We're having some stuff flood. We've basically become desensitized to it.
Right,
is what's happening, I think. Which brings me to a really funny article. I read about this earlier this week too. Can you pull up the Italian council thing?
Which one?
The Italian council flooding.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to
pull this up. You're going to put it up full screen because I need to go check something on my
Just tell me
computer
when it's ready.
Because our good friend Jono is saying something's having trouble. It might just be Facebook, guys. Because I'm looking at ours. I'm going to push some buttons here in a second. But
okay, so I'll talk about this.
Yeah, you talk about it.
The Italian, kind of like our Congress, essentially, Italian Council on climate change. They were voting this week on whether they should take certain measures in Venice, Italy, and to basically decrease carbon emissions, to decrease potential things that could essentially have a negative impact on the city of Venice. Okay, so I'll talk about this.
Whoa, you talk about it.
The Italian, I'm hearing, that's coming through. I don't know, kind of like our. That's weird. Okay, so we just had a little technical difficulty working through it here, guys. So what was I saying? Okay, so I'm gonna try not to do that again. Venice, Italy is flooding essentially, and the council chambers this week completely filled up with water. And we're showing a pic of it here. But that happened immediately after, the next day, after they had just voted on opting out of measures to prevent global warming and to prevent carbon emissions in the city itself. And so it's like now they're talking about, well, maybe we should do a revote because our entire city is flooded and we can't even get into our city or into our council chambers or whatnot. Like they're just totally flooded. So it's getting worse and worse and worse, the flooding there. But people are talking about...
Yeah, it said it's like the worst flooding they've had.
Right, yeah.
Maybe we should do a revote.
Maybe second vote? I don't know. What do you guys think? Give it a second shot here. So, yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, snap, that's crazy. That's a kind of a good point of, you know, it's not going to, something isn't going to change unless people have a reason to make it change, and it directly impacts them. And if it's something that's happening across the world or...
It was within 2 minutes of them finishing, I think is what it said.
Oh, I thought it was the next day after they voted.
No. It was really, really, really quickly afterwards. It was flooded for the first time in its history on Tuesday night, just after it rejected the measure. So it was that night. Oh,
okay. Crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, what was this situation going on with John Carmack?
Oh,
this is actually for those of you that don't know who John Carmack is.
Yeah,
he was on JRE.
He was on
JRE, but he's basically the guy that created Doom and created not Half-Life, Quake.
Yep.
And he's basically a computer gamer, savant.
Right. He also did some rocket work a while back. So when he took a break from programming for a while,
he tried to do some rocket work, but it basically financially wasn't feasible.
It wasn't feasible, and other people were doing it better. Another thing that he's wanted to work on is cheap home fission electricity creation.
Although they haven't even completely found a way to utilize fission.
No, but that was his point. And so now he's taking a step back. He's from his, I think he was CTO, so Chief Technology Officer,
Chief Technical Officer,
for Oculus Gaming, which is Facebook-owned virtual reality. Cool stuff. If you never tried it before, it'll blow your freaking mind. But
blow your freaking mind, man.
Yeah, I played some Arizona Sunshine this week and almost threw up playing it because I got so motion sick after a few zombie hordes. Anyway, so that all that aside, like he's taken a step back from that. I think just to kind of take a break, and he's kind of all about this. If you've seen the movie Ready Player One, he very much so embodies a lot of the guy who's dead and has left behind this world for people to survive in. With the Easter eggs,
he embodies that.
He's very similar to that.
True.
In a sense, but he's wanting to work on general artificial intelligence. So people don't know, artificial intelligence isn't necessarily, well, it actually isn't explaining the intelligence that would be like sentient life like we are, where we have emotions, we make decisions, and we create, and things become new. Like artificial intelligence can reproduce some of that, and it can answer easy questions and stuff, but it's not thinking on the level that sentient life does.
Right.
Even like an animal. Like it's not, it's still like it has some ability to do that. You can hear that in here. But it doesn't. So he wants to work on is general artificial intelligence, which is just that. Sentient life in artificial form that eventually would become smarter than humans.
It kind of is like humanoid, like artificial intelligence, basically.
Yes. That's what he was taking. That's what he's taking a step back to work on.
But what is the? Okay, I guess there's advantages to giving artificial intelligence a capacity to have emotions, because that potentially would save us maybe from them seeing no need for humanoids, and that's what makes us human, I think, is our emotional capacity in a way. So that makes sense for him to want to pursue that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He said basically like I have the means. He has the means to do it, the time to do it, and the brain to do it, and so he would be wasting his time not doing it for the world.
Can you imagine saying that? Like, how many people out there can say? But a lot of people could say I have the means. Sure, so a lot of people say I have the time. Can say I have the time, but to be able to say I have the means, the time, and the brain, like that's a pretty.
It
cool
is, but he's done some
thing.
Crazy things in this world that he has that will be around and memorialized for a long time. I mean, like, think about this. Of all the things that people could choose to always try to make on a new thing work, it's his games. So, like, with the Apple Watch, people wanted to stretch it as far as they could. So what they do? They ported Doom to it and ran it.
Well,
so the things that he has done run so efficiently, and he did things in such a way that were so groundbreaking in the world of gaming. And if people are like, oh yeah, but that's just video games, there's a reason why companies buy gaming computers versus business computers these days. And that's because games drive the tech industry generally, because that's the heavy lifting that most people want to do. And so they try to make it as inexpensive as they can for gamers to be able to continue to grow their technology. And so people have realized that. And so because he's gotten so good at this, it's almost a direct transfer over to working on artificial intelligence, because he's been programming these bots. And
yeah. Well, I mean, in some ways, software programs are a little bit of an AI kind of situation. Like they have a capacity to respond in a way. When they have certain input, it creates a certain output. And not that they're necessarily free thinking, but they are responding to their environment. And that's kind of an example of that's kind of a Turing test. Is that what's called Turing test? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Which brings me, dude, I saw this video this week.
Yeah.
And actually, maybe let's see if I can find it. I want you to pull it up. I don't think it's not on YouTube. It's Best of YouTube, which is a little different, so we don't have to worry about it. Okay. But there is a really, really, really cool. I'm gonna text it to you right now, and I want you to try to pull it up. Okay. Of like a really impressive, one of the most impressive deep fake videos that I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you right now. There it is. And see if you can pull this up on the iPad. It is a panel, and it has so it has an interview in the center.
Oh my gosh!
And then it has a panel of Jeff Goldblum. Is that his name? The guy from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And then it has Tom Cruise.
He has his own show on Disney Plus. We'll talk about that in a second.
Right, exactly. So they talk about that on this.
Okay.
It has Tom Cruise. It has several other individuals, and it's all a deep fake of them. And it's talking about what they think about the movie industry.
We'll play a few seconds of it, but not the whole thing.
No. Yeah, I just want to show you how incredible it looks. Like the actual.
You can just pull it up.
Video. These guys, they just look like.
You can pull the little one up, yeah. If it'll play. Sometimes this isn't like videos.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Above the Line, an intimate conversation with some of Hollywood's most recognizable faces. I'm Mark Ellis, and I'm delighted to be joined today
it's not very clear.
By Tom Cruise.
People kind of get the idea.
Honor and privilege to be here, Mark.
Next to him is,
it's so
good to see you, as always, Jeff Goldblum. Ewan McGregor to my left. To his left is Robert Downey Jr.
Hi, I'm Robert Downey Jr.
An overweight.
And to his
oh my
left
gosh, that's
is
so
George
weird.
Lucas.
Well, I apologize. Earlier I had a burrito, and I think I've got the Kessel runs.
The Kessel run.
I thought it was a gas leak.
It's a super sketchy, like not impressive video. The video's super impressive, but
yeah, ours is not that great. Yeah. Well, I'll post a video, or I'll post the link.
Dude,
and people
but
can
you
watch
need to watch this video. It is very impressive, like the deep fake. So for those of you that don't know, we've kind of talked about it, broached the subject in the past. A deep fake is basically where a computer program is able to dub over individual's face. And if you're talking, it'll match your lips, your eye movement, your head movement, and then it basically will give you the same identical look as whatever person you're trying to imitate. They're
saying in the next 2 years that apps will do this. Like, so if people don't know, like, with the new iPhones, like with the face unlock and all that kind of stuff,
right? Like the animals.
Those are scanning your own face with 30 million dots,
right?
Which is bananas that it's doing that. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
But I mean, that same phone. If we talk about like the level that we are at with technology is it's insane. Like right now, the most recent iPhone Pro, if you take a picture, it's doing 1 trillion operations per second to work on that photo and give you the photo that you see in the end. Like the newest way that it takes 8 different frames that you never see, and when you hit the button when it saves it to your screen to your camera roll. It's taken 8 different exposures, 8 different pictures, stitched them together, clarified them all, and then saved them in that amount of time.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like to the point of like, are they getting to the point where it's beyond what people can appreciate?
I think it has been at that for a very long time, that people don't understand, like, because people get irritated at computers,
right?
And and I work in IT. That's not like a secret or anything, but people will be like, "Why is this not working?" And I said, "Well, let me explain it to you in really simple terms. The file that you're clicking on right now is 3 miles away from you, and you're clicking on it, and you're wanting it to show up instantaneously, and it's going out and retrieving that file 3 miles from here and bringing it back to display on your screen real time. There's a lot of things that can break." I didn't know that. Like, yeah, but that's the magic that happens that people don't expect, and that's my understanding of it. Like, I am in IT, and I don't even fully understand how that actually works, and we are it's unreal where we will be at in just 5 years from now. Like,
yeah, that's always, we always talk about,
it could be scary or it could be cool.
What's it going to be like in 5 years? What's it going to be like in 10 years? What's it going to be like when my kids are grown up? And it seems with the exception of like maybe 10 people in the entire world or less, it's always different than what any of us are expecting. Yeah. Like, none of us expected to have iPhones like this when we were in high school.
That's where I think people like Carmack and him, I don't think it actually is like an arrogant statement of him to make that he has the brain to pull this off. I think he's not saying he's the only brain.
Right.
I think he might just be the one that has the means and time. But he and you take like examples like even like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or any one of these people from these different companies, they look at society and say what will stick. Now some of them are saying like what is going to make them come back and purchase this over and over and over again. But a lot of them, the ones that I'm the most amazed with, are the ones that predict what is going to make life better. What are people going to find useful that they never knew they needed?
Other than Apple, who are some companies that you can think of that have done that?
Well, like that, I think Carmack with Oculus is a really good example. He has, without like too much study amongst people, has realized that this is how people will use this tech. Like, it's gotten to this point where it's a standalone item, which is kind of what they were going for, which is I think why he stepped down. And it's now even going to be doing finger tracking in the next few weeks because people don't want controllers, which isn't too difficult to come up with. But the way that it works and the way that the fluidity of it works and the stuff that they're launching that he's already set in motion are very geared towards people who will never be able to experience things because they won't ever have the means to go around the world. And the way that he explains, like, giving people the opportunity to experience things they never would be able to is kind of mind-boggling. Like, once I hear it, I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I would have never come up with that myself.
That makes sense.
And so he has this deeper level of understanding of how people interact with technology and that relationship takes place.
Dude, the interesting thing about technology in particular, and interacting with it, is I was thinking about this the other day about how much different would the world outcomes be historically with, like, what if they didn't have the access to the weapons that we have now? They had like World War II.
Right.
Say they had the same access to the weapons that they had then, not the ones that we have currently. Like, they didn't have the atomic bomb quite yet,
Right.
But they had the access to the technology, like communication technology and social media technology that we have now. Like, would the war still have happened, or would they not? Like, thinking about like Hong Kong right now.
Right.
This is a great transition into Hong Kong. If they didn't have social media right now, would there be such a uprising taking place and protests taking place in Hong Kong? Because Hong Kong knows that the people of Hong Kong know that if they put up a fight on social media and they put up a fight, the news will catch on to this and the world will support them more and more and more. Yeah. And then granted, there were still newspapers, there were still, ways of communicating back then, but not to the point that we are now.
I think a lot of wars we would have lost.
The U.S.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of wars that war sucks regardless. Even being someone who signed up to go to war, proudly, I still don't like it. I don't like the idea of it, but in a broken, greedy world, it's inevitable,
right,
to some degree. Maybe not to the degrees that we've had it, but maybe the degrees would have been worse. But sorry, I see yours was earlier. But I think that a lot of the wars that we did win that were for good, and ended horrific things, even in horrific ways, like the end of World War II was by far not clean, but it was swift, and it did come to an end. And if that had continued on, what could have been, I think we would have lost wars like that.
But you think
with social media?
You think social media would have made the wars last longer,
or won the wrong way?
Oh, interesting. So, do you think in Hong Kong right now, social media is doing a negative effect to Hong Kong?
Not necessarily. I think in that case, because of what they're fighting for and how they're doing it, I think it's actually having a positive light on them. But I think in the other areas that I've just heard people talk about it and explain it in ways that I'm like, that makes total sense. Why it could have been bad. I'm not saying that I think that we should have ever gone to Vietnam or anything, but I think that part of the reason why that didn't end sooner was because propaganda was a lot easier.
Well, but that's true. That's true. Dude, I want you to pull up some of these pictures of Hong Kong protests and how they've been getting creative.
Oh, dude.
With
glue.
Creative with glue.
Yes.
In protesting. And this actually is a really clever idea. Especially, so did you know that currently China has over 12,000 troops in Hong Kong that are in a military base, but they're not leaving the base yet?
No.
They're staying in the base, and they said that if any action, if the Hong Kong people start to
I have it up.
Perform any type of
look at this picture, folks.
Combative actions.
This is great.
They will start. They're not afraid to use lethal force. But protesters now in Hong Kong, we're just putting this picture up. They're starting to use a new technique, the protesters, of disrupting traffic, and they're gluing cinder blocks.
I really hope this doesn't catch on here with the people that block roads in the U.S.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe, I guess in some situations it may be good. But these protesters are gluing blocks to the cement, to the roads.
Yeah, civil unrest of a whole country.
Yeah.
The way that it's going on, I would hate to see this applied to like people protesting like oil ships
or protesting yeah, exactly. There's protests where I'm like, it's not appropriate.
Yeah, it's not appropriate. This isn't about your freedom and all that. Like, then
I would hate to see anti-vaxxers out there protesting, putting cement blocks,
dude,
on the roads. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of anti-vaxxers, did you see that? I sent you that link earlier this week that one of the Kennedys was one of the major. I don't even understand why. So this is my question to you.
Just to get social media.
I looked for this. So the article goes like this: that Robert Kennedy Jr. is the single leading source of anti-vax ads on Facebook.
I saw that, but I
even read the article.
Yeah,
I read it.
Is it true?
It is true. Yes. That what they did is they went through and they tried
to. How do you know that? That's crazy.
So they figured out the sources of payments that came in for the ads that were for that subject, because the subject has to be declared. And because everything is kind of coming to light with Facebook and everything, they looked into who was funding it and everything, and then looked at all the sources, and then they took those sources where they were coming from and narrowed those down. Like, so like, say you paid for 20 different ads from 20 different spots. They were like, okay, so that was the same person, that was the same person, that was the same person, that was the same person. So all like one of the sole people that did it was him. Here's what I can't figure out why, and maybe you have a better idea in your head. Why does that benefit him? Because he's one of the people. He's one of the people that propagated the thyrinamin or whatever the ingredient was that people were all up in arms about.
So my only guess would be that there is some benefit to his political campaign.
Maybe
that he's trying to get those activists, those anti-vaccination people on his side.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand.
It's basically the only thing I could think of would be increasing his vote somehow.
Right.
Right. Dude, but going back to the Hong Kong people real quick. They were using bow and arrows on campuses.
Yes.
Is that right? I heard they're like, are they shooting people with bows and arrows?
I haven't heard any of that yet, but they're showing up with weapons.
Okay, dude, it's getting more aggressive, man. It really
so
is.
this is
and then didn't the
I was
Chinese
looking at this going, okay, so this is actually posing a threat, right? And that's bow and arrows,
right?
And so oftentimes, you know, like or love gun politics, our Constitution, it's written in such a way that it's not for hunting rights. It's in case the government rises up against the people, that the people can defend themselves. And people always say, yeah, but they have big bombs and you'd only have tiny guns. Like, tiny guns let you get a little bit bigger guns, get you a little bit bigger guns, get you a tank. And the tank lets you get the helicopter that lets you get the giant bomb to take over.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, these people are starting from a lower rung than that.
Yeah, that's true.
They're starting with bow and arrows, and it's working.
And cement blocks.
And cement blocks with glue. Yeah. Like crazy glue, cement blocks, and bow and arrows is how they're fighting their way. And while I would be willing to go to that level to fight for the freedom of my country and my family and the people around me, I would like to start a rung up from that. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Dude, wasn't the Chinese government threatening? They were threatening Sweden. They were threatening Sweden with a it was if they did some type of like
it was an award. It was an award for an author in Hong Kong that is, I think,
a Chinese actor.
That was deceased or something. But they were like an award that was given in Sweden, and they basically said if they went, they were threatening them, like, you know, didn't even really say what the threat was, just said, if you do this, there will be consequences. And Sweden was like, yeah, we have freedom of speech here. You're not impeding it.
Yeah. But basically the activist was a person that opposed certain Chinese government policies.
But they're since deceased, from what I could tell.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that finally, someone's actually starting to say no. Like all these,
I mean, really,
like game companies, like Apple, like removing apps from stuff, and Google Play doing the same
Trump's
thing.
doing that too already. Like, he really has been one of the most stringent on embargoes and on
that's true.
Tariffs towards the Chinese government. And a big part of his campaign when he was running was on the fact that we've had terrible trade deals with them, but they're not following through with the deals, and they are constantly stealing IP from us.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the biggest kind of concerns, I think.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. There was one other thing that I desperately wanted to talk about, but I don't remember what it was. There is a link I mentioned last week, and I finally found it this week, so I want to put it in the show notes. I think it was last week. It like gives you the it's what if the website is, this guy says, what if the moon were only 1 pixel big? And he has an app that you guys can pull up on your phone and swipe to the right, basically, to see how, like, it starts with the sun.
Oh, that's cool.
And scrolls through the solar system. And I'm not even kidding. If you sit there and just swipe, it'll take you about 10 minutes to get to the edge of our solar system. And 1 pixel on the screen is the moon.
Oh, that's really interesting.
It's bananas to get a...
Are you able to see the pixel?
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally black, and there's this teeny tiny white speck.
That's sweet.
On it. It's pretty rad. Yeah, I'll show it to you afterwards. But I want to put that in our notes because I completely spaced what it was last week and didn't get it put in there.
Yeah.
But did you see this thing on Nate Diaz though?
Okay, I saw there was an article about him. I hadn't got to read it yet though.
Yeah. So basically, a guy. So if people that don't know, like, Nate Diaz fought
UFC fighter
Jorge
Masvidal,
and got his face cut, and then the doctor in New York, which it's my opinion that New York should just not ever get any UFC fights from now on, because apparently they've had a history of this. But he said, no, you can't go on, and he was pretty mad. Well, this guy posted on Twitter with no expectation or anything, kind of just being funny, because I read another thing where the guy like followed up.
What? This is insane.
And he said,
such a good story.
Nate, I put my rent money on you and lost it.
Yeah, and I'll read it to you. He said, Nate, this is great. He said, Nate, I lost my rent money betting on you. Now I'm sleeping in my car till I can come up with my half. And then Nate Diaz actually responded to this random guy. Nate Diaz says, don't trip. I got your bitch ass.
Yeah.
And then he said, 100%.
So the guy ended up, he basically came back and responded and said, Nate's the real deal. He did give me the money.
He sent me more money than what I lost on my bet.
Yes.
And I'm using it to buy his CBD company Game Up is what it's called.
So, and he said basically, like, I wasn't sleeping in my car, but I did lose the money, and I wasn't expecting him to do this, but he is a stand-up guy and said he was going to do it. So
That's insane.
It's hilarious. It's kind of funny. I think mostly just publicity, but it's pretty funny.
No, that's actually a really cool.
It is. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad publicity. I'm saying it's a good PR move for him, but it also is a pretty fun way to connect with your fans.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably, to be honest, was freaking disappointed with the outcome too, because he didn't get a chance to go on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he for sure was.
Yeah.
For sure was.
Real quick, so a couple tech things.
Uh-huh. Number
1, I'm going to post a really cool drone shot that I saw this week that really impressed me, but our video is not working very well, so I can't really show you. There is an app, this almost makes me want an Android, that will replace the ads in Spotify with ads from Rick and Morty's intergalactic or the interdimensional cable. Wait. There's an episode of Rick and Morty where he has interdimensional cable that shows channels from other dimensions.
So the app automatically makes those ads play through Spotify?
It replaces the ads that Spotify is sending through to you as commercials with ads from Rick and Morty's interdimensional cable.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it does a few other things too. That's not all it does. It can make it so it's no noise. It can make it so that it has a filler of music or whatever. But one of the options is interdimensional cable. And then the other one was this. This was the one I wanted to talk about and get your take on this. And then we'll talk about Disney Plus, and then we're going to do some shower thoughts.
Yeah.
But
love it.
So Apple pulled all vape apps from the App Store this week.
Really?
Friday, Apple said all vape apps gone. And removed them. So anyone that was controlling like a dry vape or whatever, anything that had to do with vaporizing, anything, doesn't matter if it was cannabis, didn't matter if it was tobacco, it didn't matter if it was oils, they removed them from their App Store.
Okay, didn't know this.
No questions asked. Just like they're gone. If you have them already installed, they aren't removing them. But I haven't even seen some of the companies respond yet because it happened so abruptly that they did this. And so now it's begged the question of people like, is that on Apple to do that? Is it really, if someone purchases a device and they want to install applications on it, is it on Apple to say you cannot have that?
Good question. Or the other question, I guess, is I'm sure they always in their contract have some type of policy that says we can remove your app for any reason, even if we don't tell you.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right?
Yeah. I just think I
don't know if it's on Apple. I guess the only reason Apple would do it is there's two reasons. One, they would be concerned of some litigious reason that would cause them to get liable for something. Or two, they'd be concerned the fact that it would lose them money because they'd have some decreased popularity because of it. Like those are the only two viable reasons. They're getting decreased popularity
right now because they're doing this. That's the problem.
Right. It must be a litigious reason. That's the only viable idea that I could think of why they would do that.
Yeah, because really all those apps ever do is control temperatures and can tell you what's in it. So it could even be keeping you safer. Right. So it's a really odd one.
They're just I imagine they're thinking it's bad PR.
I think they're going to rubber band on this one and come back and say, I don't know. The other thing is too, and just so people know, like if that's you, if you're stuck in that boat where Apple has removed an app for a device that you have or something else, companies can put out apps that don't go through the App Store now. Didn't used to be this way, but they can feed you an app different ways that you can install them
on your iPhone.
Side loading. Yes. Yeah. It's just not usually it's through a website or it's through a direct file download or
and it will work as an app on your phone.
Mm-hmm. No, it looks just the same. I have a few of them.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. That's how
that used to be you only could do that if you cracked your phone.
Correct. Yeah. But now because there's
is that
so
still a thing?
Many different...
Can you still crack iPhones?
Yeah. Jailbreak them?
Yeah, jailbreak.
Yeah, absolutely. There's less and less reason these days to do it, but this is one of them. Like there are third-party stores out there that allow you to install applications on your phone without having to go through.
What does it mean? Real quick, just a little quick bunny trail. What does it mean to jailbreak? How do you jailbreak a phone?
So what people are doing is they are finding a vulnerability in the device itself or the software. It's better if they find a vulnerability in the hardware because that can't be patched very well. but they will get it so that they can get into the memory and then basically gain root access to the operating system, so that then they can mess with the APIs or the languages that Apple maybe doesn't allow developers to use. There are certain parts of your phone that the developers cannot touch. It's gotten way more broad as the years have gone on, but it used to be no apps were allowed on the iPhone. And then for a long time, like like even on like Apple Watch, like you couldn't access the microphone or the speaker as a third party.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there are
like
certain things.
speaker,
So when
right.
they get those vulnerabilities and they get
changed.
inside, once they've gotten in there and they've gotten the memory dump or some way that they can get behind in basically a backdoor. I'm just being very broad because people are going to get bored. But once they are able to do that, then they can load whatever software that they want to in there in the place, and then they can use that now that they've patched that into that spot, they can basically have the access that Apple does to the device.
Okay.
So it can be good, and it can also be very bad. So some of those vulnerabilities needed to be patched, but when they find hardware vulnerabilities, it's like really good, because it usually means that they won't ever be able to patch that device to keep it from being jailbroken.
Okay. That makes sense.
For the future. And it helps. I mean, it helps to drive. There's a lot of things that are on the iPhone now that really Apple didn't come up with. The jailbreak community did. Folders and like apps in folders wasn't a thing until like iOS 3 or something like that.
Apps.
But you could in iOS 1, you could, with a jailbroken phone, you could put your apps into folders.
Oh, really?
And it was like a thing. There's a whole bunch of different swiping to the side for the app drawer and all that kind of stuff. Was all like the jailbreak community came up with that back in the day. So, yeah.
That's
anyway.
crazy. Okay, you want to throw out some TILs and then we'll do shower thoughts?
But first, Disney Plus, because I told Jono.
Oh, yeah.
Jono texted me and he said he had a question
Also,
about
is there
this.
something going on with the feed? Is it going okay? Someone just texted me, said they're having trouble with the feed.
Tell your mom it's Facebook, because it's other people.
Okay,
too.
Sounds good. I'll tell my grandma.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been weird tonight, guys. I don't know what it is. I'm looking at our end and it is fine, so it must just be Facebook today, because I
think Mark Zuckerberg actually forgot to pay a bill.
Probably, yeah. Because I'm looking at our screen right now. For those of you that have never been in our studio, I can see how many drop frames we have online, and we have 0 so far. What did I say I was going to talk about?
You're going to talk to me about Disney
Plus. You asked me a question before we went live, and you said, not about Disney Plus. You said, yeah, Apple Music, why do you pay for that? So here's why I do.
Yeah. I mean, there's LimeWire, so why pay for it?
Yeah, LimeWire. Number one, I do believe in paying people for good content.
Mm-hmm.
And Apple Music is really convenient. My kids have tons of music tastes, as does my wife, as do I. And with Apple Music, I can give them each an account tied to mine, and they can listen to what they want. It doesn't affect me. They can download it to their device, whatever. It's very, very simple. New music comes out, they get it, like, for the most part, like, boom, there it is. And it's, it isn't cheap, but it's cheaper than going out buying, a CD or a download a month. So
that's true.
That's why I do that. And then you're giving me a hard time about Disney Plus.
No, I was giving you a hard time about Disney Plus because you gave me a hard time about Disney Plus, because I was like saying like, dude, this is going to be a great
I gave you
thing.
a hard time about Netflix.
No. Disney Plus, you did too.
Did I?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, no, dude, I think it's going to be a really good thing, especially for my kids, because my kids love watching Disney movies, and they're perfect age.
I didn't realize how much back catalog there was going to be.
It's huge.
It's enormous.
Is it? It's almost everything.
It's nearly everything.
Yeah.
There are a few things. So there's a couple things that they've done that are cool, and there's a couple things that I really hope that they fix. Number one, the question that Jono asked was, what device do I use to get Disney Plus onto my screen? Honestly, I'm an Apple fanboy, but the best streaming device that I've used to date, and I've used them all, is the Apple TV. I know you've gone back and forth and had some issues, but you were a Roku guy back in the day.
And I still, one of my TVs I use Roku, and one of my TVs I use Apple. Yeah. And it seems as though Roku is a little bit more user friendly.
I hate Roku's interface.
I think
it's so clunky.
I think the interface is more user friendly.
I think it's just
but I think Apple looks better. I think they have a better like aesthetics to their program or their whatever, I don't know, software.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, you could do Roku, you could do Apple TV.
So here's a cool thing that I did not know. Apple just this year released the Apple TV app. So if you buy a new TV, so a Samsung or something like that, you can download the Apple TV app without going out and purchasing an Apple TV.
If it's a smart TV.
If it's a smart TV, which I don't think you can buy a dumb TV unless you go like buy a commercial panel that you're going to put on a wall or something.
Right.
But there's a few things it doesn't come with. It doesn't come with like the remote's not the same. So there's a lot of different things that are different. I currently use an Apple TV 4K in mine and Disney Plus, just so you guys know out there. Apple TV is one of the only devices that streams full 4K HDR with Dolby Atmos sound from Disney Plus.
And that is one of the most important things to have when you're watching Little Mermaid.
When you're watching
because Little Mermaid requires
when you were watching
all of those,
The Mandalorian
and more. Okay.
Not Chromecast all the way, Jeremy. No. I've used a Chromecast.
Chromecast. Ooh, good. You know what? That's a curveball right there, Jeremy.
It's a free free country. But honestly, not that free.
Okay, I've never used Chromecast. I have. And
they aren't bad.
I'm actually proud of you, Jeremy, for saying an alternative format there. I have used Amazon Fire Sticks before.
I have one of those.
And they're not bad. No. They're not bad. I actually kind of liked the one that's literally just a USB and just plug it into the TV.
I have one of those.
Because there's no like.
And if you guys like, if you want like a good deal on those, usually Cyber Monday, all Amazon devices go on sale.
$1.
They come out. They usually the most current Fire Stick goes down to $19.99 on Cyber Monday, and it comes with the voice remote and all that stuff from the Gary Busey commercials. I'm cheap, yeah. Buy a Fire Stick. Here's what I don't like about the Chromecast. It's like being controlled solely by your device. At least the ones that I've used have, and I don't like that. I like the apps on there. I like them individual. I like them up there. And not when I walk out of the room, they disappear. I know that they do some weird like voodoo handoff. It's interesting. But I would if it were me, I'd prefer a Fire Stick over a Chromecast. And if money were no object for anyone out there, Apple TV 4K all the way, because you can stream 4K HDR.
But the happy middle ground for everybody out there is Roku if you're looking for one, okay? Yeah. Actually, the funny thing about Roku...
middle ground is the Fire Stick TV.
I would take Roku any day over a Fire Stick TV.
The hole in the ground is Roku.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, we can hear a little bias in this conversation there. That's okay.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so...
Your Roku, I would say in your situation, you have had better luck with your Roku. I think it's just familiarity, which is totally fine, too.
It could be.
Although I've heard...
Or it could just
I heard some people had some issues with Roku, and actually some old Chromecasts don't work. And then there are some Vizio TVs that are only a couple years old that will not stream Disney Plus as a smart TV.
Oh, you're talking for Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, if we're talking specifically for Disney Plus, if you want the best picture right now, Apple, I believe, is the only one that's doing the 4K. I could be wrong on that, but that's the only person I've heard confirmed.
Nice. So check them out, guys.
Yeah.
There's some good streaming services out there, or platforms. Okay, you do a TIL, I'll do a TIL.
Okay, first one is this. Do you remember the song Peanut Butter Jelly Time?
Peanut Butter Jelly Time,
yeah.
Peanut Butter Jelly, Peanut Butter Jelly.
That
and then
guy,
it was on like every single TV show.
Yes, the singer of Peanut Butter Jelly Time died in an 11-hour police standoff during which his brother-in-law, Snoop Dogg, attempted to calm him down. And for him to surrender.
His brother-in-law, Snoop Dogg?
Yes.
What?
I know. It's like this TIL just like keeps going. It's like, oh my gosh, like what? And I looked it up, and sure enough, like he's got a couple other songs and all that kind of stuff. But he died. I went and fact checked this one in an 11-hour standoff with police, and Snoop Dogg tried to talk him down. Yeah.
Well, that guy needed some peanut butter jelly. That's all he needed.
Yeah.
But maybe he had that song playing constant repeat, and he was just ready to end it all. It's like, I can't help it. This song has been in my life too long.
Yeah. He's like, peanut butter.
Today I learned that in the Grand Canyon...
Which is true, because you're just now reading this.
Yes, it's true. Yeah. Today I learned the Grand Canyon Museum had 3 buckets of radioactive uranium ore on display for 18 years. And was only found out when a kid with a Geiger counter on the ground was goofing around with a Geiger counter.
Isn't that hilarious?
That's insane.
18 years. Live.
Radioactive uranium. Wow. So anybody that went to that area, you might be getting a refund.
About
might be getting a refund.
They're like, why are our workers keep getting cancer and dying?
What's up with these skin
Like
sores?
the people coming in and leaving probably would never notice anything because they're not exposed to it for very long. But
I'm getting so hairy over here. What's happening?
it's so bad, right?
How come all of our employees have web feet children? What's going on?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
terrible. Terrible. All right, guys. Are you ready for shower thoughts?
I am.
Drum roll. That was really loud. Okay. There comes a time in everyone's life where beating up someone younger than you goes from pathetic to impressive.
So true.
I love that.
I'm not going to lie. Most of these, I thought of you when I read them.
Oh, thanks.
Soldiers today can get PTSD from just killing someone while looking through a scope. Imagine what soldiers of medieval times would have suffered.
Oh, my gosh.
Seriously.
They complained a lot less, apparently.
Yeah, they probably didn't make it. They died
Yeah.
of scurvy before they got home or something.
Yeah, that's true. The reason it's hard to tell if someone is flirting with you is because you can't compare their behavior around you to their behavior when they're not around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true, isn't it?
Well, unless you're watching them, but then you're a creeper.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then
That
you're
actually is
creepy.
in the comments. The guy's like, okay,
Yeah.
guys, this whole stalking people thing has gone a little bit too far. I'm frightened for a lot of you because
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
people
really,
were
that's
suggesting.
what you
is
do. You
you
just
could
stalk
stalk
'em.
them. Like,
just stalk 'em.
no, stop stalking people. Not good. The biggest mistake made when designing Jurassic Park was using door handles instead of knobs. It would have been a much different movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been. Can you imagine
The raptors, they're like,
their
well, we
claws
made
on
it this far.
the-
You're like, oh, this doesn't work at all. We're stuck. Movie's over 30 minutes in.
Okay. If you teleported to a random location on Earth, you'd probably drown. You'd probably be swimming at that point.
Yep. Social media is weird. You're showing people all the things you are doing that you didn't invite them to and then asking them to like it.
That's so true.
It's so true.
Oh my gosh, I hate social media so much.
And then sometimes you don't.
God, I'm really wanting to delete all my social media.
Oh, whatever. You
No, you're-
old person.
But I don't know. We'll talk.
This
about
next
it.
one is actually for you.
Finishing building something. Oh my gosh, it is more satisfying than having the thing that you built, dude. Oh my gosh, I am such a project builder.
It's so
mode.
true.
I'm like every week I feel like I have a project, but part of that is because there's things that need to get done. I just have to do it. If I
Yep.
don't get it done, I have to do it.
How's that fireplace coming?
Dude, it's coming, man. I have to show you.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm excited to see it. It looked, whatever you were showing me yesterday looked cool.
Thanks, man.
Bubblegum and birthday cake are flavors, but bubblegum and birthday cake can be any flavor.
Very true. That's kind of like, not quite the same, but kind of like when they say fruit cake. I love fruit, love cake. Put fruit and cake together. Fruit cake, nasty crap.
It's not the same
No,
thing.
it's not the same at all.
No.
But I'm just thinking
It's
about
not
the combination of words.
It's like when you go to the South, who like, could I get a Coke? Yeah. What flavor? Dr. Pepper.
Not the same.
Why does Curtis hate social media? That's Haley.
Oh my goodness. It's a web for me.
It is on the web.
Of difficulty. I don't know. I think what this is what I don't like. There's things that I don't like about social media. And this is a long bunny trail. I think I have a hard time with when I think it's hard for me to not, I don't know. I think maybe part of me when I see things, I do feel like I waste my time on social media sometimes more than I should. And it's like I'm just like sitting there. I'm just scrolling. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing?
That's
what's
claw
gonna?
sign.
I'm just clawing. Like what's satisfying my brain right now? Give me something. Give me something. Give me something.
I used to do that. I don't find. I find myself doing that on Reddit, but it's not for the comments.
And I that's one thing that I feel like I've noticed. And I don't do it that much. But then also like I don't like the emotional impact that social media has on me sometimes. Like if I see somebody's post that makes me like frustrated, I don't like that has any ability to have sway over me.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily.
That's interesting because my brother said the same thing, and I would not say that I don't ever feel that way, but oftentimes I But most of the time I don't.
It's
I'm just like, that's interesting.
It's more.
I don't want to hang out with you.
That's exactly it. That's the thing. Like I feel like in my head, like, oh, I don't want to hang out with this person as much.
But then I feel really good that I'm not.
Well, but then I don't know if that's a good thing.
Why not?
Because it's like people that I know or people that I do life with.
When was the last post that I posted that you didn't want to hang out with me?
I've never seen anything from you.
Oh, sure, whatever. You hesitated.
No, I haven't. No, I really haven't.
We'll do it live.
I haven't. I haven't seen anything from you, but there are posts, and honestly, I'm going to be maybe just being genuine. There's more posts from ladies that I see posted that are like emotionally overexposing, maybe, or like I don't know if that's like putting things on social media that can't be engaged in a real conversation.
I often will be confused by that. I'll be
that can't be.
Why did you put this here? But it doesn't make me mad.
It doesn't.
But I think there's a personality difference.
Yeah, and I don't know if I should say mad is the right word, but it makes me like.
Oh no, I've seen you mad.
It makes me feel like this is not like maybe a good decision, and then it makes me feel like, oh, I don't know if I like really can engage with this person because I don't really trust them the same way because they're like showing that they're not like that conscious of what they're saying to the entire world on social media. And so because of that, because I see myself like judging people based on their what I perceive as an emotional over response, I feel like it's just not good.
You have gotten a response from your answer.
And there's your response.
Can you guess what her response is?
Oh, I don't know.
You should be able to.
Quit being so judgy or something like that.
Nope.
I don't know. Oh, am I supposed to guess? Like, you want me to tell you exactly what she said? How am I going to know what she says exactly?
Oh, you should know. Once I read it to you, you'll be like, damn it, I should have got that.
Well, then just get rid of social media or something.
No.
Oh,
she said,
don't watch social media?
Nope.
I don't know.
She said that's so 8 of you.
Oh.
That's true. It's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm just my thoughts about it. But do we have any other shared thoughts?
Yes. Let me just read them to you and you
go
laugh
for it.
at them.
Go
okay. There are people going to bed tonight thinking about an embarrassing thing that they did in front of you that you don't remember.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I do that.
I know.
Yeah.
And you know what? When
I did that last night when I was going to bed. I thought about
when I copied and pasted this in here. I was like, he's going to tell me about a time he did this. I should have written that. Why do you think? I should have written that in parentheses. Now Curtis is going to tell me about the last time he did it.
Wait, why do you think I would have said that?
Because it's so 8 of you.
That's so funny. Yeah, I had thought about that the other night. There was somebody that I had told, like, I had told them that my kids were throwing up. And then I was telling them, like, yeah, so I'm going to be careful with what dinner I eat tonight because I'm pretty sure I'm going to throw it up. So I want to make sure that it's not something that's really spicy or, like, make sure it's good food. And then I thought, like, oh, they're probably going to think that's really gross that I said that to them. And then I gave them a hug. I was like, oh, they're probably going to be nervous that, like, I gave them a hug and all my kids are throwing up. And now they're going to start throwing up because I'm concerned about throwing up.
I could see this.
Yeah. I just thought about that.
Haley says, love you, Curtis.
Love you, Haley. Thanks.
This next one's for you, too. It's very short. 4 words. Work is intellectual prostitution.
Oh my God. So true.
And I wish that I had done that in parentheses too.
Which leads us to a whole conversation about prostitution. That would be a whole nother. We should bring that up on another podcast because that's a whole bunny trail.
A whole other bunny trail.
But that is true. It's intellectual.
Okay, 2 more.
That's so good. 2
more. This next one, hilarious. I did actually laugh when I copied pasted this. If we lived in Gotham, I don't know if I could do a straight face. Batman probably would have gotten Jeffrey Epstein's guards to talk by now.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh, I love that.
And you know what they would have said? He
did
not commit suicide.
Jeffrey Epstein did not.
He did not kill himself. It's not scary because you were alone in a dark room. It's scary because you think you're not alone in a dark room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was always scared that there was something like behind the curtains. Or
was
snakes.
There?
Maybe. I don't know. We had a lot of foster kids, so there's probably 1 or 2 hiding out in there every now and then.
We played Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Michael and I did the other day. It is horrifying.
Yeah, it looked super terrifying.
And it's like in this kid's room, and there's like monsters coming out from under the bed.
It looked like really good graphics too.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, looks really good.
Yeah,
dude.
Nothing. What's funny about that game is there's nothing violent. Well, I don't think so. At least we haven't seen anything. It's mostly just eerie.
Yeah. Just subtle spooky.
Just jump scares. Yeah. It's pretty fun. We've had a
good
time with it.
Guys, thanks for hitting us up. Thanks for joining us. Testing Normal, episode 39.
In the bag. This is my golden episode.
This is golden episode. Jordan's 39, and this is episode 39.
Boom.
So props to Jordan making it on 39.
Yep.
Well, guys, let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. Hit us up anytime on testingnormal.com.
Yeah, testingnormal.com, and you can hit the contact
Facebook,
thing.
YouTube. Love y'all. Hope you have a great week.
Woohoo!
Talk to you soon.
See
Peace
ya.
out.